is Thomas Pikarski. I'm a software engineer with a Qt company. And welcome to my talk, Code Coverage Workout with Coco. First, I want to mention, please type your questions in the chat box during my presentation. So let's get started. First, I want to introduce you to the agenda. First, like with every good workout, we will start with a warm-up, where I tell you the basics of code coverage. The second part will be the workout, where we perform code coverage with Coco in action. Then, in the third part, there will be a cool down and a recap, and I will show you how to move on. So let's get started. But first, what is most important to me is that everyone who's joining in to this talk should get the very basic idea. No matter what is your background, be it development, management, sales, or marketing, you should grasp the very idea, and I hope you will get and can follow me. So let's get started. So, what is code coverage? It is a metric to determine how much of your code is exercised by your tests. It is expressed as a percentage value, and it is calculated by dividing executed items with total items. Let's just take a quick look on a very simple example. This function divides two numbers, a and b, and it has 4 lines of code. But this is quite controversial when it comes to code coverage. Sometimes, or not sometimes, a few people will say there are 2 lines of code and not 4 lines of code. But for this example and within this talk, we are going with 4 lines of code. Now we have a test which calls the function divide with 10 and 2 and compares the result with the number 5. And with this little test, we have already gained 100% code coverage. But when it comes down to dividing numbers, there's always this one edge case where you divide a number with 0. What is 3 divided with 0? It's not a number. How we can cope with this edge case? We just introduce an if branch. As soon as b is 0, we return not a number, NaN. We are up to 6 lines of code, but at the very same time, we are down to 67% code coverage. So how we can regain once more 100%? We add another test. We just divide 3 and 0 and watch out for NaN, not a number. So let's get to the workout. And what this workout will be about is calculating the pace for runners. Very briefly, I want to just introduce you the concept of pace in running. Pace is the time a runner needs to run 1 kilometer. John, for example, runs 10 kilometers in 60 minutes. So he needs 6 minutes for 1 kilometer. His pace is 6 minutes and 0 seconds. The equation to calculate pace is just another division, once more, time in seconds divided by distance in kilometers. So now, after this warm-up, and we started with a workout, let's get to our demo. Let's start with our hands-on workout. Here we are in the Qt creator, where we have a pace calculator application loaded. It is a little application based upon Qt widget which calculates the pace. There's one central function, calculate, which calculates the pace. And here we have the very same line, the very same calculation we saw earlier in the example. But let's first run the application. So here we are, we have start time, finish time, and distance. And when we alter, for example, the finish time, the pace is calculated on the fly. And we can also alter the distance, go up and go down to 0 distance, but some things ain't quite right there. 20 hours now. That's some pace. So let's return to the Qt Creator and let's take a brief look how we can fix and handle this issue. And first, let's take a look at the tests, which covers already our application. These tests are based on the Qt testing framework, and we can run these right inside the Qt Creator. All tests pass so far. And now let's just take a closer look at the code coverage. Here we have in the menu bar Analyze and Squish Coco. This connects Qt Creator and the coverage browser, which is necessary to establish communication by the language server protocol. And as you can see here, Squish Coco, the coverage browser, is running in the background. So it's not gone, it is here. It just hides itself. Here's the coverage browser, and here you can see our central pace calculator source file with a function which we are interested in. And here the coverage browser displays how many lines are covered, but you can have different criteria you can use, and you can use line coverage, function coverage, and things alike, but we are going to focus on line coverage in this workout. So let's switch to line coverage, and we have 0%, but it's not 0%, it's at the moment the coverage browser lacks information. And this we are going to create by running our tests. It creates a so-called execution report. Now the only thing we have to load the execution report, it's our first run. Click next, and we have the coverage data inside the coverage browser. And as you can see, we reached 100% code coverage. But let's turn to this one little bug we had with a zero distance and the wrong pace. So here in the source file of Pace Calculator, you already see the communication between the coverage browser and Qt Creator, where you can see the annotations, which lines are covered and how often they are executed. So, but let's first fix this little problem, just like in the example in our warm-up. So if the distance is 0, we return not a number like from the example, we rather return a queue time, an empty one. So let's save this and run. Oh, let's check if this fix is working actually. Let's just recompile our application. Compiler is heavy working out as well. So let's go down with the distance all the way down to 0 kilometers, and the pace is empty. So I think we fixed the bug. The coverage browser is reset to 0% because of lack of data, and we can just rerun our tests. We rerun. A new execution report is generated, and you already see the coverage browser is offering us to import the new report. And here we can see that there's one line not covered, and we are down to 90% in this example. Of course, let's just focus only on the pace calculator, because as a matter of fact, the GUI application comes with much more source files. But how we can get back to 100% inside this pace calculator source file? So let's get back to our tests, and I think we should just check with one little test. Test late 0 distance run. Let's call the method and let's go to the implementation and implement. And I think we can, just for the sake of simplicity and speed, because we want to run fast, let's just reuse this function or copy paste it, better said. So the start and finish time is not important here. What is important here, we go down with the distance to 0 kilometers, and with the time, it's not 6 minutes, it's no time at all. So this would be the test, the new test, which should regain us once more 100%. So let's run the tests. It will take a little bit time. A few files should be recompiled. Compiler makes it very exciting, so to speak. Good. So all 5 tests have passed. So let's see if, okay. Coco already got a new execution report. So let's see if we are back to 100%, and we are back to 100%. So this one line, which returns the empty queue time, is covered by our new test. And this is the very basic idea of code coverage and how it can be applied with a coverage browser, with Qt Creator. And let's get back to our slide deck and to the recap. This was the workout, and now let's turn to the cooldown, where I want briefly recap. Code coverage is a metric for how much your tests executes your application. It can help to improve tests and quality. Furthermore, Coco enables you to measure coverage, track it over time, and is integrated into the Qt Creator. Now it's your turn. First, check out the Coco website. Second, take a look at our documentation. And third, just run the workout code. Thank you very much for your attention, and let's work out our applications.